Hey guys, we're sitting out here about to go put some more tree stands up. I got one particular deer I'm after, and I wanted to do a quick little video over how to hunt the pre-rut and how you figure out, when that pre-rut activity into that rut activity is really going to start occurring. So we'll start off kind of how I generally hunt. I'm looking for, that pre-rut that's going to occur there the last half of October, and I'm going to be isolating cold front mornings. Now, doesn't mean that you can't hunt in the evening times. You just got to be real careful with it, because what you do in the next couple of weeks can determine and disrupt your entire deer herd and your entire season on that particular piece of property. So, as I get into the pre-rut activity, I am hunting still quite a bit out of the redneck blinds, but if I see a buck that's moving through here, this is kind of a situation. I'm actually putting two tree stands to hunt one particular deer that I saw not only on a trail camera but also in person several times hitting a particular scrape. So scrapes and rub lines are tremendous I guess items to look at and put your trail cameras on, and it's not going to be all the way through the rut, but that pre-rut activity, that's when your bucks are going to be most active in regards to running those scrape lines and running those rub lines, just because those large amount of those deer haven't, or those does haven't started to be receptive. So the bucks are ready, they're getting adjusted to it, they're starting to make their game plans, establish a territory, but that rut just hadn't occurred there. So getting into the where the hunt, it's going to be along major travel corridors that you've identified rubs and scrapes on. And then also, I'd still continue to hunt those in the evening times. Use your trail cameras to advantage, especially those cellular ones. If you can get in there, get a good quality pattern on a deer, then hunting. I don't care what the weather is. Go in there and hunt that deer, and see what comes up with it. But always be smart with your entry, exit, and during the hunt, both with wind and thermals. I think you should be pretty successful there. Now in the evening times, don't be afraid to start jumping on some of those food sources or those main travel corridors to that food source. Those bucks they're going to start cruising here, especially the last week in October on into the first week in October. Now, there has been a lot of discussion in regards to like when rut, or when the doe start getting the estrus. Based off what I've seen historically, as well as what I've seen on graphs and other information, is does actually there will be some does that will start coming into estrus around October 20th. Now the peak is always between that 7th and 20th of November, but October 20th has been known that historically that you can look back on your trail cameras and any of the kind of evidence you've got there that basically that gestation period of a fawn is around 200 days or 6.5 months. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you've got the ability to look in on past trail camera videos and footages, May, June, and July, when you see those fawns get born, subtract out that 200 days, and I think you're going to get really close to when your does on your particular piece of property start becoming into the estrus cycle there. So definitely isolate those cold front mornings there. If you're getting into the ridgetop areas, that's when water, those bucks are going to really start cruising, and those deer are going to need to have a water source. I watched several of them a couple afternoons ago. I sat out of a saddle for 6 hours and saw around 15-20 deer. I think 7 or 8 of them were bucks. Real nice 3.5-year-old deer came through. Just wasn't anything I was really wanting to harvest. But again, once you get into that, once you've got a deer pattern, when that pre-rut activity, jump in there and hunt that deer. Those deer are notorious to hit that scrape. And like I said, in my particular example, it didn't work out, but in the past it has worked out several times for me in regards to having that deer pattern, not only physically seeing that deer, and then also the trail cameras. And that's something else to kind of keep in mind, is don't solely rely on those trail cameras. They are a great resource, but you may have a deer skirt that or maybe he's just barely outside, you know, that zone where, you know, that trail camera's not catching him, and he's moving through there. You just don't know. So, you know, those observation sits, or, you know, when you're hunting, you know, keep observing all the way around. See what that deer movement's doing, and I think you'll start putting a lot of pieces together pretty quickly there. So hopefully this helps you guys out, understanding the pre-rut into the rut there, when to hunt, how to hunt, and I think you'll become extremely successful there. So I appreciate you guys liking the video. Like always, hopefully you guys are getting out there in nature, and best luck on your upcoming hunt.